Turn my volume all the way up like I usually do now. I will turn y'all's volume to almost the yellow. And... wah.
Wah. You can also individually manipulate our volumes in the like where it shows our names in the call.
Ooh.
In addition, you can set yourself, Adam, as the primary. I think it's called primary speaker. So, long story short, when you're talking, it'll auto turn all of us down, which is sweet.
Oh yeah, it'll auto attenuate us
on Discord. Oh, I'll have to use that. But for now, greetings and salutations, travelers. And you may be like, oh, where's all the videos? And it's like, I don't know. Adam's computer is being weird. I'm concerned that the problems that I thought were just battery may have been more. But Lord willing, that's not the case. We will see what happens. But this episode is episode 10 is going to be audio only, except I am still apparently able to capture Roll20. So it was just something with recording the Chromium call, I guess. So I don't know. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we were. We were kind of having a session when it all cut out, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So let's do the announcements real quick. First off, this is a disclaimer that this is an adult podcast. It sometimes features adults. It sometimes uses adult language. You have been warned.
Good.
This also, the Patreon and Subscribe Star. I don't think Tommy has a Subscribe Star, but Patreon for Black Dragon Gaming and the Planar Crossroads are both going on. And if you want to support either one of those channels, you can go to Patreon for Planar Crossroads and Black Dragon Gaming. And if you don't do that, you can do Subscribe Star on the Planar Crossroads. I don't think Tommy has a Black Dragon Gaming one for that. But let me see. Current video is going to be episode 10, like we said. Our next subscriber giveaway is going to be on the 500 mark, and I will be pleased when we get to the 500 mark, because we get to do a few extra things that you don't always get to do on YouTube once you hit the 500 mark. This month's giveaway is going to be for patrons and subscribe stars, is a Rick and Morty Splat book for 5e. So if you want to pick that up at some point, or if you want to get in on that particular drawing, actually, I should say, then you need to either be a patron of the giant tier or higher, or on Subscribe Star with us at even as low as the fluff level will get you in. So there's that. Any other announcements from Tommy?
Nope. No announcements from me. I announced that Skoros is sleeping because he's hurt.
Yes. So, to get into that, so we can actually get into the game instead of losing another hour. When last we left our heroes, they had decided that they were, one, going to rest, but two, they couldn't leave these bodies out for processing because they didn't think that the people of the town would be that pleased with them carving up a humanoid right out in front of everything. So they got...
Yeah, people could care less about the dragon, but the giant, people are squeamish for some sad reason.
For the record, Skoros
it's like a big people, okay?
And Skoros has no idea you're carving it up, because he probably has at least kind of a, eyebrow raise at why you would do that to a poor giant. Though, in fairness, no one ever questions the dragon, which is smarter.
Yeah, arguably the more intelligent creature.
Arguably nothing. Definitely the more intelligent creature. Like a factor of 2.
So, they decided to they got Egor to drag those across the road, and then Levi's character Runemane made a hut over them with, I believe it was...
Secure shelter.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's nice.
So I'm assuming that that's large enough to cover two large creatures?
20 by 20 by 20.
Okay, they'll just fit in.
4th level spell.
Side by side.
Side by side, kind of scrunched together a little bit.
We have to throw desks out of windows to make them fit.
All right. Okay then. So, you guys go ahead and decide what you're going to do with the rest of the day. Let me see. Skoros said he's going to sleep. What is our creepy guy? Boldrago, there we go. What is Boldrago?
Just misunderstood, man. It's just misunderstood.
Well, you are the Azamar that appears as like a fetchling.
Oh, he's probably much darker than a fetchling. He's literally got a night sky for a face.
Yeah, that's fair. And perhaps that's why he might be slightly misunderstood.
Like I was trying like 2 or 3 times to say, Boldrago would like to address the mayor that is patiently standing at the gate.
Okay. She is there. She was not in sleeping clothes, of course, because that would be silly. We're getting ready for a raid. But she had apparently tried, somewhat ineffectively, to calm down enough to rest. But Kendra is there, Mayor Devrin, and she is looking kind of surprised at what all's going on.
Yeah, it's a big dragon is being dragged away.
Just dragging it across the road.
They're like it's by small increments because his legs are so short. So he can drag it, but it doesn't move very far per drag.
It's like 3 feet per drag.
Yeah.
I almost imagine Egor would get more out of this trying to, because he has the strength score to do it. I don't know what the sport is called, but the Scots do it, and it involves telephone poles.
Oh, the
caber toss.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, but the dragon's not in rigor mortis yet, so he can't get it rigid enough.
He's not quite rigid enough for me to huck him end over end.
Well, you can throw him, probably. I don't know what your, like, lift overhead is, but I think just...
So Boldrago, he is doing... what?
Miss Maya is a bit problematic. The visitor giant was he was willing to come and talk, but something went wrong and he went amok. So
oh well, I'm surprised that you were able to get him to come and talk. That's not something that I was expecting. And she kind of adjusts herself a little bit, but can't really control the giant anyway, I suppose.
He was very triggered about them stone in the lighthouse. You know anything about the stone?
I don't really know anything about the old light, as farther than anyone else. It's just a ruin that's always been there. Quink has been very diligent in discovering new things about it. Most recent history with it is that the heroes from what was that festival? Swallowtail.
The Swallowtail.
The Swallowtail heroes, they found it appeared to be a room only, but Quink may have had some diggers in there, or someone small enough in there to be able to dig some portions out to find new bits of information, but not that I've particularly seen myself. I've kind of left it to Quink. He's a bit eccentric, but he gets he understands what he's talking about when he keeps his brain on cue.
I see. Would it be possible to send people to look for it? They were very keen on getting it and would be terrible if it was to leave the place. Can only imagine what would happen.
I suppose so. We can wake Quink up. He insisted on staying in his house. It's not surprising. But we will, we can send someone over and have them ask Quink about it. And we can see what happens. It may take a little while to get a straight answer.
All right.
Thank you, Boldrago. I'll get someone to do that. And she goes to turn around and get that done. She stops and talks with the sheriff first.
It's very good. Just like to let you know, the druids, they traded their lives for the giants. It was brave stance. They died for your city.
And with that, both her and Hemlock kind of look at you, and they look at each other, and they just say, Shilelu?
I shall go survey tomorrow, but probably she joined them.
I see. We will hold a memorial for them.
I'll let you know if I hear her.
Okay. We would appreciate.
Of course. As for the dragon and giants, perhaps keep these men under wraps. Kind of gestures towards the guards on the gate.
Yes. It's probably best that the people just know that at least some of them have been defeated. And the dragon portion, that will ease a lot of minds when we tell them.
Oh yeah. They shouldn't be coming back. And if they do, they shouldn't be a big threat to that city no more.
Yes. Well.
But you know, you cut off the head, the feet run wild, you know?
Yes, like, Hemlock pops up and he says, yeah, like a chicken.
Yeah, they do that. Anyways, I be going, taking some rest now. You should do the same.
Hemlock just rubs his eyes and walks off to take care of his men. He waves his hand, but she kind of nods a bit and rubs her forehead. You can tell that this whole recent situation with not just the Giants now, but at the Swallowtail Festival that happened just not a year earlier even, just several months earlier, has taken its toll. She started to have some gray hair pop up that you didn't always notice along her temple region. But she starts to move and head on as well.
Alright, with that he'll probably just camp out like someplace like here-ish.
Okay, ping that again. Okay. Right about there.
I made a mark. Yeah, just looking out the whatever it's called, the inner sea.
Okie dokie.
I think.
Cool beans. And that's where Boldrago goes. So Skoros is taken care of. Boldrago is taken care of. Egor, you are done dragging the things. Are you going to bed, going back to go to bed, or what's happening?
Is that X where we're dragging them?
No. I believe you guys said you're dragging them out of town, but I mean, if you're dragging them in town, they can probably fit the hut right here somewhere.
Oh, okay. No, sorry. I missed the bit about what Boldrago was doing. Yeah, I guess we're dragging them out of town. They need to be out of town where people won't run across them by accident.
Okay, so you drag them from here over to here, I guess, is what I heard.
Yeah, out of the way of the road, wherever Runemane and Kellery are keeping their hut, their dead guy storage.
Their Gore house.
Gore.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That sounds like some cheesy asylum flick.
Or a Tarantino film. That was a lot more work than I was prepared for. Egor is very tired, and he would like to go to bed now. So if you gentlemen are quite finished with Egor, I will be going. He's talking to Kellery and Runemane.
Runemane will nod, and Zhao will wave goodbye happily, in a very friendly manner.
Okay, I shake a little monkey hand with my small but still larger hand.
And much more powerful.
Yes. It's very gentle handshake. I know I do not crush friends. Only cowards and giants.
Appreciated.
Good night, gentlemen. He'll walk back to the dragon. It's been a very long, tiresome, angry day for Egor, and he needs to go to bed. Actually, honestly, he's not quite as caked in gore as Skoros is, but he's pretty close. He probably needs a bath too. So yeah, we're gonna go back to the rest of the dragon and sort that out.
I have to imagine it's more like Skoros is caked in his own gore, Egor is caked in giant gore.
I mean, you did punch a dragon so hard you ripped part of his skull off, so...
Fair. Nice. Well, if Kellery would like to come scrape me before I go to bed, then raise these resources. Hey, on the notion of dragon ripping, I've tried to ask you this like 4 times over the course of things. Adam, how far away is a red dragon's horn from a danbong? Given that a danbong, as like you would know from Gorilla King, is like just a stick. How much processing has to happen before it can function in the same vein?
It depends if you want to actually make it into a proper danbong, or one that is a weapon that is themed as a danbong.
Yeah, it'd be like to be used as. I would be replacing. I mechanically own one. Flavor-wise, have been using my Campania, but like I've said in Discord chat, I think Skoros might have a bit of an anger problem, and he has this something crossed him, and now he has a piece of it, and he's going to hold on to it as a trophy. So it stands to reason that's probably the thing in his hands when he's like trying to like lock people's arms up with it.
Okie dokie.
So,
right.
But if I need to take it to like Runemane or Kellery and have them whittle it first, that's totally cool. I just wanted to know.
It'd be something that they could work on in the crafting time. Yeah, it's doable.
Okay.
It is doable.
Got you. And I guess like second thing to say it now while I'm thinking about it, because Ross isn't here, because Ross's family lives on a farm and they had cow problem, is what I'm understanding. But Skoros and Willton need to talk. So I assume that happens first thing in the morning in the timeline. We just may have to like retcon that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when time passes, just to make sure it happens, because it's not fair to the poor kid that like he couldn't make it. You know.
Right. Okay, that is also doable. So everybody's taken care of except for Kellery and Runemane, and I assume they are staying at the hut.
first thing I'm doing is going to the glassworks, coming back with my wagon, which has various useful tools, and several large containers. I'll pay the glassworks for them when everything gets worked out.
Well, that's a Amiko technically would own that, and she hasn't been doing anything with it, so.
Ah.
Yeah, the glassworks is super defunct right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, we can fix that.
Industry.
Aggressive capitalism ensues.
That, and I swing back by the Rusty Dragon, drop a gold piece for about a pound of coffee, because along with this, I'm going to make coffee strong enough to keep the dead awake, so we can burn through a processing session. It's probably going to... It'll probably last about... I forget... I think Kellery coffee is another flavor text way to describe that, but basically it lets you go for about 16 hours, and then you are exhausted, unconscious for a matter of time after that.
Ooh, okay.
So let me double check on that.
All right.
I have a ring of sustenance just so I can sleep less and be ready again.
Yeah.
So,
I don't yet.
That,
We'll fix that soon enough.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I only bring it up in chat because it's very expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, just like less than 4 hours, I'll get you one.
Oh, cool.
The ultimate coffee. A nice pretty ring.
But you have to be attuned for 24 hours for it to start working.
I think you actually have to wear a ring of sustenance for a week before it starts working.
Oh. Okay. Well, that'll... And dear... I thought it was 2,000, but it might be just 1,000.
I mean,
'Cause if
double
it's
check.
just-
Fact check me. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was about to.
Welcome to Pathfinder.
Yeah.
One way or another. But, yeah,
If it's
I
that
will
cheap,
get to
I could
work.
just throw around Ring of Sustenances.
Just gonna throw
No.
around $1,000 gold piece rings like they're nothing. All these other people out here, they're dying from hunger and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna throw around these.
1,250. I can build them a Ring of Sustenance.
Also, are there actively people dying of hunger at Sandpoint?
I mean, there's beggars.
Yeah, fair. Makes sense, I guess. Seems to defy the notion of that quaint little tiny fantasy town where all your adventures can happen, but fair enough.
I mean, there's always gonna be that guy who spends more money on drink than on food. So
Skoros feels personally attacked.
2012 Kane feels personally attacked.
Not 2019, Kane?
No.
2019 Kane is more responsible than 2012 Kane.
He eats soup. He's figured out how to still have lots of drink, but also have lots of food.
Yes.
2019 Kane doesn't realize he's not 2012 Kane. Just let him go with it.
Numbers are hard. Math is difficult.
What year is it?
What year is it?
is it?
All right,
Now we gotta make Jumanji.
I could run a Jumanji game.
I'm here for it.
Run that for a month. All right.
Deal.
So, you guys are, that's what Kellery's doing, and you guys are able to do that, and if you do work through the night, yeah, you can do the whole staying up late thing to try and get it done. And I believe the substance that you're using will not require any saves, any fort saves for that. So, That
I
is
mean,
still
he
doable.
technically could become addicted.
Okay, that is true. That is true. So, I mean, you don't have immunity to
narrow.
poisons yet. So, as rare as it... Can you fail it on a 1?
It's probably like an AC 11.
I think it's DC 12. On the SRD, it's under Desert Coffee. Stand by. Have it here.
Stand by.
Type ingested, addiction mixture, fortitude, save, DC 12.
Okay. So, if you can fail it on a 1, go ahead and roll. If not, then there's no reason to roll.
The true power of the adventurer is the adventurer can drink as much coffee as they want and not get addicted like the rest of America.
Yeah, my fort save is only +7, so
Okay.
I guess I could become addicted, but
That would be hilarious. He may not even try to fix it. So go ahead and roll to see if
Kellery's
hilarity
got the jitters.
ensues.
What is it? I saw someone made a homebrew, I think, for alchemists called the Order of the Darkest Brew.
Oh, yeah.
That was literally about making alchemical coffee, super coffee.
I mean, I'm here for it. Give me super haste.
So go ahead and roll that.
And so he did.
Oh, okay. I see it. Oh, well, when you roll a 19, I mean, it's no fun there. All right.
believe me, I am waiting for the RNG to come slap me.
Well, don't worry. I think actually in this party, getting addicted to coffee would be bad because I think it makes you fatigued, and then you step a little too close to Egor, and suddenly you're exhausted.
Ugh.
Ha ha ha. All right.
It's so hot, and I need caffeine. Eh.
Which would then make it worse because
That sounds like such a first world problem. Oh, it's so hot, and I haven't had any soda.
What are you talking about? This is not first world. First world is where Fae live. Do not drink Fae coffee. You will see things. Don't drink that.
That would be a first
Mostly
world
LSD.
problem.
Mostly LSD. Yes, the next day. Sorry, we're lollygagging.
We're lollygagging about drug coffee.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was just slightly less powerful than my normal morning cup, but got me going.
Okay. You guys are able to work. You will have to rest eventually, but you are able to work through the night. As you guys continue to work through the night, let me make sure. I will roll them dice. Well, why don't you guys roll me a D100? One of you.
Nah.
First one.
Now that the two casters are all alone by themselves, what a good time for all the stone giants to show up.
Ah, it's not triple zeros. You cannot kill us now. Ha ha.
Aha! All right. No death from above. So with that result, nothing really crazy goes on in the night. I mean, apparently attracted by the blood, some wolves come fairly close, but the guards just shoo them off with some arrows. So nothing crazy goes on in that sense.
It's incredibly meta.
Oh yeah, 000 dragon got raised. Ooh, that would be so good. Throw a Reaver right at y'all.
I'd be really curious to know if those wolves were a little more intelligent than the average wolf, but
then the
I might just be
average
really
wolf.
attached to all the NPCs from my last character that are now dead. Anyway.
All right. So the day turns over, and the morning comes. Everybody probably sleeps in. I'm guessing, because you guys didn't get to bed till 2:30, 3 o'clock. So you're probably not getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah, probably not. But I am up a little earlier, like maybe 6:30. You know, I have to do my push-ups. I have to stretch out my hamstrings. You don't want to get all tight, and then you tear something off while you lift. It's very bad.
Is indeed. Skoros is probably up at like the unless something happens, probably like 9:30 or 10, something like late morning, when the sun is coming through the window too much, and so like you have to get up, that kind of thing.
Okie dokie. So.
And then I talk to Willton. That's later.
That's later. So, first thing first then, we know what you guys are doing in the morning. As far as what goes on with Egor, he has nothing specific to do this morning necessarily, unless you guys go hunting more giants.
Speaking of Willton.
But, yep.
Not to interrupt.
Yep. We will let you guys chat. We will let Willton and Skoros chat in a few minutes as soon as we establish what everybody's doing in the morning. So in the morning, apparently Egor wakes up, does his exercise routine, and
I have something else really quick.
Okay, well, make me a perception check while you're doing your exercise routine.
Okay, I can do this for you. I will. Where is dice rolling machine? Whoop. Oh, this is 8 plus 10, I think. Yes, 18.
Oh, okay. So let's do this. Okay.
Please don't sick those dwarven children on me. This is different character.
Different character. No, they don't like you that much. Well,
So
I
he's
mean,
a
I can't
prime
say
target.
that. They have no opinion of you. That's all I can say.
Steal the kettlebell.
But you make that you kind of and you're working up not just your normal glisten, but you're working up an actual sweat to make sure the blood's flowing and everything. And as you're turning around to walk in, you see that there's this kind of halfling-sized individual, and you recognize that Matilda kind of was looking, and then she gets really red. She only half her face was showing over the door frame, and she gets really red and goes back to what she was doing. So.
Okay. I don't know that he has a response for that other than to sort of like smirk and chuckle to himself a little bit, like, "Oh yeah, Egor still got it."
Egor is Johnny Bravo.
Oh no, he's an Ustalavan He's an Ustalavan halfling Johnny Bravo.
Man, I am pretty.
All right. What was the other thing you wanted to do?
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's gonna go downstairs. He's gonna eat a very big breakfast because he needs some carbs, and then after that, I would like to go to the hut and talk to them very quickly just about the stone the giant was talking to them about, and then I will go to the old light and maybe try and do something with that. Maybe I'll go talk to Clink, and we can do that while they're doing their Gore house business.
Okay, we will touch on the Gore house business in just a minute then. What is Boldrago doing in the morning?
Oh, well, apart from chatting with his spirit companion thing to get his spells and stuff, he would go visit the abattoir and yeah.
Okie dokie. So we will again.
I guess we'll take it from there. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and do the Gore house business right now then, since everybody's going to the Gore house for the. What do you do in the morning? I mean, you go to the Gore house. That's what you do, right? Well,
It's a very high quality Gore house.
Yeah.
The technical
The finest
term is
Gore house.
abattoir.
All right. Well, the butcher shop is open. Sentient creatures only, I suppose. And you guys all go up there. And that leaves Skoros down there. So let's do the Gore house stuff, and then we will let both Skoros and Willton have their heart-to-heart. So, when you guys get to the Gore house, there's It's definitely there, but you can tell that at some point, some blood had been plentiful enough to leak down, out, and through the door frame. So you may enter at your own risks. Y'all go in. You gonna go in?
Okay. Yeah.
Because everybody gets there. Okay. Everybody goes in. And you find Kellery and Runemane doing their thing.
Oh,
Xiao's assisting.
Oh yeah, it's very, very comforting to see this blood-covered monkey smile brightly at you with his sharp teeth.
I'm sorry, but he has prestidigitation. We have all been cleaned. The house may be dirty, but our clothing, all of our clothing is clean.
He's just constantly casting it.
He doesn't have time for much else.
That's how he assists. He keeps us clean.
Sponge
so
me, monkey!
Stay focused. You gotta remember, I'm going aggressively bougie with Brasut.
Gross. Kellery and Runemane, I know that you are both very inquisitive men, but this is perhaps a touch beyond the pale.
Do you know what you can do with this giant skin?
No, he was wearing it. I figured it was his, and therefore none of my business.
Well, is he using it now?
This is slippery slope you put Egor on.
How would you like to be able to grow to his size?
That is an interesting theoretical question.
Egor likes this slide.
It is a fun slide for slippery sloping.
It's slip and slide of purest evil. Whee!
I question the morality of it.
Aggressive capitalism.
It is very aggressive capitalism, and as my accent would suggest, I'm not about that.
If it worries you, don't worry. I won't make it for you. Seems simple enough.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess this is that could happen. I don't need to be a big giant Egor. I am very, very efficient and compact as I am right now. And he crosses his arms.
Yes, but how efficient and powerful would you be standing his size?
I don't
or
know.
What used to be his size? Gel, sponge, please.
It sounds clunky and cumbersome, and I feel like I should roll a bluff check because
he's just
trying to sound disinterested, but he's not very good at it.
So while he tries to sound disinterested, it's worth mentioning that the items and all the things that the dragon and the giant were carrying have been set off to a side on a table. Seems to be some trophies along with the other stuff you guys were told about in chat. There seems to be some trophy heads that were ripped off of probably some corpses, or corpses now, after the head is ripped off. And Boldrago, no one else has kind of lived here to know, but Boldrago does recognize several of them as the druids, and he also recognizes a certain elven ranger and her head on the table.
Yeah, this is Thistletop all over again.
Very, very intriguing. This is. It's a shame you had to slay the sky beast. Would have been interesting to talk to it. No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys are all sociopaths. I want to hear more about this rock so I can leave.
I'm just waiting for Boldrago to cast like Speak with Dead on the dragon.
Giant was talking about special rock. You see something about this, Runemane? Perhaps when you guys were talking in language I do not know, but you mentioned something about stone.
Yes, he mentioned some sort of glowing rock. Zhao, could you hand me that saw, please?
No, can you not be elbow deep in intestines while I am asking you questions?
Can you hand me that?
There is a limited amount of time to work.
The rock, where they say the rock is somewhere else, right? Like it's not here, it's somewhere that it's not here. Could you tell me more about what is not here?
He knew it was in Sandpoint. Specifically... Okay, Levi is trying to recall where he stated it was. Wasn't it?
This is the old light.
Yeah, okay. He said something about it being at the old light.
Okay.
Can I roll a knowledge
what
arcana?
that is, but I'm sure somebody in town knows what it is. I will ask them goodbye. Got his hand over
Can I
his
roll
mouth.
an arcana or history?
You could, yes.
Cool. Which one would you prefer?
Wait, that depends on what information you're trying to get.
Knowing me, let's go arcana first. I sent it in to roll, so I don't know.
Are we rolling?
It's telling me that it's still rolling the dice, so I think my computer is hating.
Oh,
There
it goes.
22 Arcana.
That's something.
Glancing back through the arcane portion of your knowledge about Thassalon, and your studies with Quink, he's still the authority on it, but you do remember that, again, the Thessalonian wizards were the wizards of the past, high power and stuff like that, and that some of the stones there would probably either tell the story of that or perhaps lend insight into what those magics were, how to use them, or things along those lines. So that's
Okay.
the best guess from an arcana.
I mean, if you want a history, I mean, I'm ooh, no.
The history gives you a little bit more. Historically, if there was magic in there, rune magic was popular, but it was not the only form of magic, and binding it to specific stones was not unheard of. Based upon the word that he used in Dwarven, or in, he was speaking in Giant, so in Jotun, the word that he used in Jotun was not one that was necessarily associated with magic rocks, but just stones and rocks. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Egor already left. It's not like I would have told him too much more than he could find out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would gladly join you, Igor, but
yeah, Egor is out of there.
I look up. Wasn't Egor here? Oh well.
He was researching the stones. As I stretch out an intestine for you to saw through to segment it off nicely.
Off in the distance, you just hear.
Yeah, but I assume that Egor would always power puke because his abdominal muscles are just that strong.
Oh yeah, it's a projectile line. It's practically a breath weapon.
Secretly, Egor has a secret power he has yet to learn to tap into.
Yeah.
Go for distance.
There are
figured you
several
could make
monsters in
it
horror
Chopper's
games
eye.
that are that. Yeah. Everyone is nauseated. No save.
Do you have plans for all of the parts of the body?
Yes, do
No,
you want
that's
to
why
hear
we're preserving them. Oh, we have plans for all of it.
Or at least most.
Yeah.
Do you have it for all of the teeth?
The stone giants? Yours.
I was more so interested in the dragons, but that will do. I was simply hoping to perhaps get some more potent arrows should the need arise. You two seem to know what you're doing far greater than I do.
Brasut, arrows? We should be able to do that.
Definitely.
Zhao, can you bring that large jar over? There's enough fluid here to collect.
Oh.
You all need
Flap,
anything.
flap, flap.
Perhaps I may not be as good as creating items as you all are, but at the very least, I can serve as an errand boy for the time being.
Hmm.
Hey,
Have you had anything to eat, Kellery?
no, not... I could go for something, yes.
Have you tried the spaghetti from the Rusted Dragon yet? Or is that... Where is the place that Egor's always getting his spaghetti from? I always see him with a plate of that pasta.
Ooh. Spaghetti.
As he rolls out some more intestines.
Sounds
Yeah, I just
good to me.
I just kind of like look at the intestines and just go,
I'm looping intestine between two poles to, get it out so it looks kind of like, when they're making fresh noodles for the street vendors in China.
We have to rinse these off to get,
Yes.
get the blood down in the jar.
very well, just
Yes.
let me know if there's anything else I can get for you. I'll get you some of that pasta, and I will also fetch you some... Do you have a means to... Well, you have prestidigitation, I presume, for cleaning your hands.
Oh,
Zhao's been cleaning our hands intermittently, because he has prestidigitation.
Well, I do not wish for you to contract some sort of blood-based illness while eating your meal. That would be inefficient for all of us, I presume.
Dragon's blood actually is quite helpful in many, many preparations.
True, but in day-to-day consumption and dietary necessities, I've found it to be quite low.
Mm.
Unless, of course, you are anemic and need the iron.
So I'm hearing that Willton will be headed to get red spaghetti for those two.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anything else need to happen in the Gore house before we follow Willton and get to Skoros? Okie dokie. What?
So the heads, you need them now, or would you mind if I borrowed them for the day?
I don't think we really had any plans for them, did you?
No.
Oh, I can keep them then?
Yes.
Yeah?
Out of curiosity, what do you want them for? Just curious.
I just intend to commune. That's all.
Interesting. Of course, your style of the arts are different than mine or Brasut's here. So, well, may I wish you luck with your communing.
Yes, very good. And he'll take the giant head, the dragon head. He'll take Shilelu's head. He'll take the druid's head. He'll take all the heads.
he just stuffs them in there.
Now, if you want the dragon's head, that's going to be a little. It's going to be with the. We got to get it back too.
Oh, you said you didn't want it.
We thought you were talking about the heads off to the side of like the people.
Oh, it's
not the people we
too.
killed.
I'll get it back to you before tomorrow.
That should work. Only the dragon's head, mind you. The teeth and the other horn are the most valuable parts as material components for future constructions.
I see. You shall have it back before tomorrow. No problem.
Thank you very much.
It's not my dragon. Then he walks out.
Oh. Okie dokie. So while he goes off to commune with heads, to do some talking heads, Kellery, Willton is walking back, and Skoros has woken up later than Willton did, and looked around for him at the Rusty Dragon, I would expect, and not finding him there.
What goes down is Skoros gets out of bed, goes downstairs, buys 2 more of the drinks that I shattered, and I'll like kick an extra whatever the cost of the mugs that I broke is. I'm sorry, giant attack. You understand? And gold. Or no, I don't imagine they're gold. However much the mugs that were broken, plus 2 more ales. As I walk out the front door, I hold up my bracered arm again to summon my my falcon.
If I don't get those back, you're not taking any more out of this restaurant.
Okay, but you must hold Egor to the same standard.
I already do.
Good enough. Do I find a birdie?
The bird comes to you from off. It lights from off the building's top and swoops down to your arm.
Well, is this what I was here for? Did I need to kill a dragon?
It's, she kind of fluffs herself, and then, as close as you guys have approximated after talking with each other and communicating, she nods, and it's one of those nods that indicates, yeah, that, and...
And what? Should I stay?
Or should I go?
Should I stay or should I go? If I leave, there will be giants!
She just kind of hops down and does her best to scratch out more.
I understand. In that case, will you go try to find any more of our friends? Come back if you see anything approaching Sandpoint.
And she swoops up, gets a running start and swoops up and flies off.
And then with a severe lack of Willton, Skoros is smart enough to probably figure out that they're over where, like, maybe I didn't see the creation of the slaughterhouse, but that exists. So I guess I'll just, like, head that direction.
Okay. As you head that direction, you and you travel up of Raven Street, start to move around, and last time you were here, there was a road between the tower between the guard stand and the other building. But now there's not, so you have to go all the way over to Main Street and cut across back over. And you make your way. And approaching, let me see. Is Mac back yet?
Yeah, he had to burb at the worst time of bourbon.
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 Thank you, Kane.
All right. Well, let me see. That is almost an hour. So we will cut it as you and as he's coming down the road, you're going up the road, and you kind of make eye contact. It's one of those things where you guys see each other, but no one says anything at the very start, and that's where we'll cut tonight. And we will pick back up episode 11 at that moment.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun!
Inner party drama.
Indeed.
I should use that voice every time we have inner party drama.
Man, this is Dungeons and Dragons. You'll use that every episode.
Dungeons and drama.
Guys, the nerds are cutting up sentient beings again. Inner party drama.
Inner party drama. All right. Well, we hope that everyone that was able to watch this one watched it with the understanding that we were trying to get you an episode of what was going on. So we had to go with voice only. If you actually prefer the voice only, you can let us know. Otherwise, we can do a bit more I'll do a bit more finagling with my end. I'm not really sure why it was going on, but we will see. Is there anything that you guys need to announce or go over before we go ahead and let the people go?
I guess I'd be curious to know if, in a alignment pseudo-mechanically thing, is what Brasut and Kellery are doing right now, is that an evil action, would you say?
We will address that outside the stream, methinks. We'll make it a bit more interesting.
Good versus evil is always complicated.
It is. I've had GMs, I've played an alchemist that has done that before, and when I did that, the GM got real upset when I wanted to cut up a were-rat to learn how it worked. So I'm just curious from, how Adam Spain sees it before, Skoros falls into chaotic evil from wearing giant skin.
Just be evil, dude. Just be evil.
Just own it, man. Just go full Zon Kuthon and just own it, you know?
We have so much to show you.
All right.
To show you.
All right. Well, as always, before we sign off, we wanted to let everybody know that this content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you. Have a great day.
You're
God bless.
welcome.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.